for letting us come in today.
Well, I'm glad to see you.
Well, I'm glad to see you. And what was your maiden name? Eve?
Evelyn Charlotte Berensford.
I love that. I love that accent. This is great. I could listen to you all day. So where was hometown for you? Where were you born?
I was born in Chelsea, London.
Chelsea, London.
Chelsea, London, yeah.
And you, during the war, is that where you were stationed? And that was home?
Yeah, London, yeah. And we went through the,
the bomb, yeah.
we had the bombing and everything.
Now, tell me a little bit about your mom and dad.
My mother was English,
Right.
and my father was Irish.
Okay.
He was born in Ireland, and I think they all came over to England anyway, so they, we lived in a, first thing I remember when I was a kid was living in a city called, it was an estate called Bellingham, London, England.
Okay.
And I went to school there, and then I went to high school, and then from high school I went and working with the some lawyers. I worked for some lawyers, and then from there, when the war broke out, and then they decided they were going to have set up, a place to try these villains.
Yeah.
I went to work in Paris for a while.
Right.
And then from there on, we went on to the war crimes trials. And
now, were you recruited? How did you, as an English subject?
I was sort of, it was called a sort of a lend-lease. I was loaned. There was three of us, three girls. We were loaned to the Americans to help, with the working, and we were paid by the Americans. No, we were paid by the British. That's right. We were paid by the British and worked for the Americans, and it was called a sort of a lend-lease, lend-loan.
Did you, being an English subject, did you have any interaction with the English prosecution team of David Maxwell Fyfe or Peter Calvaresky or any of those individuals?
No.
So you just worked for the American staff?
And we didn't see too many of them because we our bosses went to the trials and come home, come to the back to the office and gave us notes and stuff to type, and then they went the next day and we typed all day, Now,
were all three of you with Drexel Sprecher?
No, they were with different people.
Who were the other ones with you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've forgotten.
Yeah. When did you go to Nuremberg? Did you go in the fall of 1945?
When they first started.
So you were there at the beginning.
Yeah.
You said you were there when the charges were read against.
Yeah, all the Germans. Because
Right.
I went to. We weren't supposed to go, but I went into the courtroom and saw all the Germans sitting up there, and Goering and all those people up there, and that was the only time I was ever in the courtroom, because we weren't supposed. We had too much to do, typing the notes and everything the day after our bosses went to the trials, right.
And who was your boss? We should talk about him.
Drexel Sprecher. Drexel Sprecher.
As said by the German.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, describe him.
Oh, he was a tall guy. He was nice, easy to get along with. was always nice to me, you know.
Business.
Yeah, business, yeah. Always business, yeah.
Now, at the time, he was preparing for the case against Robert Lay. Do you remember that at all? He was the head of the labor,
No, I don't remember. No.
and ultimately he hanged himself in the cell.
Who, Lee?
Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Lee. I guess that's Robert Lee.
Uh-huh.
And so Drexel had, as I understand it, had to change defendants.
Oh,
Yeah. So would it actually work? What were you typing? What?
What had happened in court the previous day?
Procedure.
Really, the transcripts?
Yeah, right. What happened in court the previous day, because they-
We said you had
Yeah.
some, yeah.
So that Drexel Sprecher would bring it to you?
yes, he would bring it, and then I would have to type it, and he went to court, you know, while I was in the
He was
office
dictating
typing.
to it.
No, not dictated. It was all written out.
Oh, was it?
I think so. Yeah,
Was it his handwritten notes?
I
then?
believe. Yeah,
So he would be in the courtroom. He'd be taking notes,
I think so.
and then
yeah.
he'd hand them to you.
Mhm.
Oh, how interesting!
I believe that's what happened. My mind is such that I can't remember anything.
Did Drexel? What was his impressions of how the trial was going?
He seemed to be pretty, pretty easy with it.
Yeah.
Last night?
Did you?
It had rained.
I understand he was quite a ladies' man.
I guess he was. I didn't have anything to do with him. I had my.
You had John, so why worry about anybody?
Right. Whatever he wanted to do in his spare time, he could do.
That was his. That's what we've learned about Drexel. And
Oh, really?
I had interviewed Drexel about 5 years ago,
Oh,
and it was very interesting. And he talked about all of the staff.
did he?
Yeah. How many people were on his staff? Do you remember how many there were?
No, I don't know.
With a lot of them.
I think there were
Lovers.
there were usually 3 of us in the
They were
office.
travelers, a lot of
Right,
During the day when he was at court.
right. And so you only went to court once.
Right, that was the first time it was set up when they all pleaded,
Yeah. Ma, so you were right there at the beginning.
Right, yeah, because I didn't have any, notes or anything to type. So,
What was your impression? You had obviously read the British newspapers and seen the pictures of Hermann Goering and Rudolf Hess, and now you see them. What did you think?
I think that they were going to have to go through the trials and take what they were responsible for.
Right, right. Now the person does the name Ari Neve mean anything to you?
No.
Yeah, he was the British pilot who was shot down and was decorated a lot by the British, and he was the guy that actually served the indictments on all the
Oh, really?
defendants.
Huh.
Ari Neve. Drexel had a chance to actually prepare the cases for 3 of the defendants.
Yeah.
He was very involved. Very involved. Now, when you came back, or after you got done with the day, what was your normal day like? You'd come in, when? What was
In
the
the
hours?
morning, hours, I think they were 9. Come in at 9 and work till about 5.
Right?
And then I went back to it was a big house. We had rooms in it. Jean and Joan had a room each, and I had a room. And we had taxis that we could use. They were always there,
Right.
that we could get us to take us wherever we wanted to go. And I'd go to the
Skated in.
United States, the clubs, where they had dancing and meet GIs and, have a good time,
Yeah.
Not only did they
Yeah.
have
So So you guys had quite a, you three single girls from London, or England, in Germany, chasing GIs.
Well, I did. I don't know what she and Joan did. No, I loved to dance.
Yep.
All I wanted to do when I went there was dance. So they were, and most of the GIs were very, very nice, you know.
But you stayed in a house, you didn't stay
Yeah.
at the Stein Castle.
No, we were in a house, yeah.
Did you ever go over to the Grand Hotel? Were there parties there at the Grand Hotel?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Officers.
There's the officers, okay.
Yeah.
So,
We accused them of being officer material.
so where would you go? Where were the dancing? Were there beer halls?
They were sort of, they called them clubs.
We went to the opera house.
Yeah, we went to the opera house, yeah.
The beer hall was upstairs at, well, I wouldn't call it a beer hall, it was a dancing place for GIs upstairs above the opera
The
house.
Opera House, okay. So it was up there.
Yeah, and we, we danced and talked, and most of them drank, but I didn't drink. I
didn't dance.
and I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke or drink because I just didn't, you know. I pretended to smoke. I would light the cigarettes just to be
Social.
yeah, and I just let it burn out. Yeah.
Oh, that's. So let's see. You didn't like to drink. You didn't like to smoke. You did like to dance. Your husband probably liked to drink. Probably, I didn't ask him, but liked to smoke. We didn't.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happened
he-
here? There's no match at all.
No,
We were told that this wedding would never last.
oh yeah.
It would never last. Well, it has, only 60 years.
Yeah,
That's what the Army was worried about.
Yeah.
exactly.
The thing is, the main thing is, in a marriage, what people don't realize, you have to be friends first.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can see
Then
that.
the love comes, but if you're a friend, you're friends forever.
That's
Yeah,
it.
friendship, yeah.
So, you really wanted to buy his tickets, is that right? For this particular, when you first met,
Yeah.
was it love at first sight?
No. We,
You just wanted to take advantage of his tickets.
yeah, I just knew him on and off. I met him on and off. We did really.
The real thing was, all three of us went up to the dance hall one time, and I was supposed to be with Joan.
Yeah.
That's the other girl. I went to the restroom. When I come back, everybody was sitting around, and the only one that was left open was her.
Yeah. So we
I
had.
went over and sat down, and her and I got to talking. And
Yeah. That from then
one
on,
thing
that
led
was
to
it.
another, and this is what happened.
Well, it was meant to be, clearly.
Well, look at the way it worked out, Me from Texas and her from England, and the time I was working on a ship out of New Orleans, instead of staying there, I left and got in the Army. And
Here we
Yeah.
are.
And then, we got.
man.
I took him home to meet my family, and my brother. My
she
brother
got a
was.
great family, great family.
And sisters and my mother, because my father was dead, so
But you never did become an American citizen.
no,
You still can't vote.
no,
But you can vote for the Queen.
right.
God save the Queen. As you look back on that Nuremberg experience, have you kept track of the other two girls?
Yeah, Christmas, I always have a Christmas card from both of them, but
Jean is dead now.
Joan is too, I think.
Well, we haven't heard
from Joan.
We
Now,
didn't get one this year. Usually
I
we
just
do.
assumed that she's not here because we never received a Christmas card from her.
Sure.
Now, last year we didn't get one from Joan, so I don't know.
Yeah. Jones, she married an attorney in Washington.
Oh, who did she?
Joan Wakefield. She married Rags Ragland.
That's right.
I saw that
That's-
name, yeah.
Okay.
As you look back and talking about, working in the room, and you had at least 3 secretaries working there in Drexel's. Now, you did that during the main trial. Did you continue to work with Drexel throughout the secondary trials as well?
No, when did I leave, Johnny?
You left Germany
Yeah.
in, I think it's June, May or June of 48.
48,
You left,
yeah.
well, no, you may have left before that. Because you left, you left in March. You left
Yeah,
in March
because
48,
we were expecting...
Just after we got married.
yeah, because we were expecting Wayne in August.
So, but did you work with Drexel the whole time then?
Yes, he's the only one I work with.
So you would have seen the end of the first trial,
Yeah.
and then Telford Taylor's, the secondary trial
Yeah.
would have been on there as well. Did Drexel continue to have you do the same thing where he would take the notes?
Yeah, that's as far as I know. That's all I did while I was there.
No, you did there. Did you ever see the pictures, or did they ever,
No,
any of that
no.
stuff? I see that Drexel stayed in touch with you.
Yeah.
He sent letters to you.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I was surprised, because I was never real friendly with him. You know what I mean.
Right.
Buddy.
But we were we got on together. We were as boss and secretary.
Right. Right. Do you remember any of the other attorneys that may have come in and
No.
talked to him at all? Drexel's house. He had a huge library of all the Nuremberg.
Really?
Oh, huge. And I always wondered whatever happened to him when he died. Yeah, he was very much a scholar in the Nuremberg trial process.
Uh-huh.
Do you follow it today? Like John, do you watch the documentaries on television?
I didn't think there
Yeah,
were any.
whenever I watch it, she watches
Yeah.
it with me.
When you see it on TV and you see the scenes of the courtroom when some of the participants, does it bring back any memories for you?
Oh yeah, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought of Goering when he pled not guilty.
Oh, was it Goering who killed himself?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. That was, I was there that first day that they brought him in, and I ran away to be in the courtroom that day. And I remember him pleading not guilty.
Did you have a reaction being a British subject, knowing that he'd bombed very much your country?
No, but I knew that they'd be all taken care of.
Yeah. Tell me about your experience in England. Were you in London area during the bombings? Did the bombings affect you?
I was just outside Lima, just outside London.
Right.
And sure, we had bombs every night. We had to take cover.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did the tube go out as far as where you were living?
oh yes,
So
yeah.
you went down in the tube? Where
No,
did you
oh
take
no.
They stayed in the house.
We
Tube
stayed
didn't
in the
go
house.
that far.
Okay, I didn't think so. Yeah.
No, the tubes were in London.
Yeah.
No, we were
And
outside
they did
London.
have a bomb fall in their backyard,
Oh, gee.
and it hit the house. Damaged the house. Tell
What
me
was-
about that school that the bombs hit there. The kids were in school.
I don't remember, Johnny.
Was there a real sense of fear in your town during the bombings? Was there what was the feeling there?
Well, it was. We went to work during the day or school, whatever, how old we were, and came back and then maybe heard the planes coming over and then had to just take cover, But we were very fortunate that our house wasn't hit.
Were there sirens?
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
you knew in advance?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that they were coming, so we had to take cover.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember seeing the planes, or were you?
No, we
in
weren't.
the cover?
We didn't go outside.
Right. What was your feeling towards the Nazis?
I hated them.
Mm-hmm.
They did so much cruelty to so many people, especially the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
They annihilated them.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think they were cruel.
Mm-hmm. What was your feeling during your lifetime over there? Chamberlain was your prime minister,
Yes,
and you probably have some recollection of when Chamberlain went over to meet with Hitler. That whole Munich conference.
yeah.
Did you think that there would actually be a war?
No,
Yeah.
we never thought there'd be a war. We thought maybe they'd settle it and everybody would be fine.
Mm-hmm. Were you then? Did you feel betrayed by your government? Did your mom talk about that?
No, we never discussed that.
Yeah.
No.
When we say Winston Churchill to you, what's that mean?
I think he was a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense the population rallied around him?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he was a very good man and he tried his best to do what was best for the people.
Mm-hmm. How did you get to become a legal secretary?
I don't know. I worked for lawyers and I was just applied for the job and got it.
Now, there are two types in lawyers in Britain, barristers and solicitors. Do you remember which type you worked for?
I worked for accounting when I was in England, doing tax returns and stuff like that, all accounting. But I only worked for the lawyers when I went to the trials.
Did you know the other two girls before you went over to Nuremberg?
Yes, I've known Jean and Joan for years. We worked. Seems to me like I worked for in Paris. I worked for Jean and Joan there. Jean and Joan were there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember who I worked for in Paris.
Now, this was while in Paris. Was that all part of the preparation for the trial?
Yeah, we were preparing for the trials. Yeah.
That was an important location for the gathering of the evidence before they even selected Nuremberg.
Yeah. So I worked there, but I can't. Like I say, I can't remember who I worked for.
Was it American or British?
It was both. I think they were both. It was British and American.
Did you ever see Jackson?
No.
Was William Donovan or James Donovan? They were both in Paris.
I don't remember them.
Whitney Harris?
No. I don't remember the names.
Okay.
No.
Okay. They were just young attorneys that were happened to be in Paris. That was for a short period of time. You weren't there probably too long.
No. I was just there for a little
Was the
while.
war over when you went to Paris?
No.
No, war's
No.
still going
That's
on.
what I thought.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was still on.
Before the end of the war.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were starting to gather
Yeah.
information there.
In fact, they almost got ready to move out whenever the Battle of the Bulge happened.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, we.
They thought the Germans were going to come right on through.
So you
No.
went to Paris right
Yeah.
after the liberation, basically.
Yes, we were getting ready for the.
Main trial.
Yeah, the main trials. Yeah.
Well, you were there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Does the name Elma McLay or Elma, she was one of the secretaries for Jackson before it really got started. She was,
No, I don't remember that.
what's the question I should be asking her? There's probably a piece of this puzzle I'm not asking.
I wouldn't, but as far as I know, she worked for Sprecher the whole time.
The whole
But,
time. Yes. I was in Germany.
But
Yeah.
she-
On the
but
trials.
in
Yeah.
Paris, like I say, I don't know what all she did when she was in Paris, you know.
So there's a part of her life you don't know.
Right. And I don't. I
Well, it's a
can't.
darn good thing we got here.
And I can't remember either.
Well, given the fact you were young and you liked to dance, probably just as well.
Yeah.
But I remember her telling me back many years ago, whenever the Battle of the Bulge happened, they had got information about the Germans coming through, and they were afraid they were going to come right on through, so they were preparing
Right.
To
leave.
to leave.
Paris.
Yeah.
But she was telling me back whenever I first met her that her brother had been downtown London, and he was on his way back and they had a raid, and they hit a school.
So interestingly enough, part of the things in London you're very concerned about were the V2 rockets, the
Oh, yeah.
V1 rockets, and interestingly enough, your husband, a few years later, worked for the guy who developed the same V2 rockets in Germany. I mean, it's just an interesting connect here.
Yeah.
When he was working for Werner von Braun and that group, did that make any difference? Did you have a reaction at all?
No, I didn't really know who he was working for, actually.
Were you, were you under a sense of secrecy at that time?
Not really. It's just that we didn't talk about what we were doing, you know, because at that time it was pretty secret yet.
Yeah.
But you were in Alabama, weren't you, when he was in,
In
were
Tex-
you at Fort Bliss?
No,
Yeah, we
no.
were at Fort Bliss. She
Yeah.
was with me.
Oh,
Right,
You
uh-huh.
had little kids there, too. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the boy then.
Oh, just one.
Boy, yeah.
And they, for a room, for a house, I'll say, they gave us a whole wing of a hospital.
You?
Yeah,
Just the two
yeah.
of us.
Oh,
And all
Lord.
it was
What,
one
yeah.
room.
Yeah, when
And we
all,
had to hang blankets so we could have rooms, you know.
yeah, they were all separated.
And whenever a plane would take off from Biggs Field, that's when the B-52s first started. Our dishes would just hop up and down on the thing and it'd wake the baby up and you'd,
Oh,
Were you sure you did the right thing at that time, or are you thinking about
I
going
bet
home?
she did.
oh.
I'll say one thing. She did one time when I was out in Fort Bliss. I got a letter from her. She was going to write to Mom and she was going to go home.
That was, his aunt told me that he's not coming back to get you.
Yeah, she kept telling me that.
Yeah, she kept telling
So I
me.
sent her the money
And
and
I-
said, get out here.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
That aunt was something else.
So I was staying there, while he was.
But the thing is, most of the family were very good to her.
Oh,
Being she was from another country. And would you believe, I've actually had people to ask me, What language did they speak over there? Can you believe that? Today.
What language do they speak in England?
You're
I
right,
don't know, you?
right. Oh,
So,
Well, Eve, this has been terrific.
well, I'm sorry I don't remember so much.
Well, you remember a lot.
Well, I wish I could remember a lot more.
Well, I'm sure you find I've left a book here on Robert Jackson, and it has
Oh,
some
yes,
Nuremberg stuff.
uh-huh.
And all. I'm glad that say thank you to you. But both you guys' story, it's just a wonderful combination of Nuremberg stories here. And what I find interesting, you're not alone. There are other people who met folks in Nuremberg, and
Yeah.
we had a chance to interview them. And
I had a friend that married. I don't think she was French. I think she was an American. This GI was in the 82nd Airborne Division.
Mhm.
He married a girl in Germany,
right,
but she was an American, I
right,
think.
right.
And there was a number of guys married over there, but most of them either married French girls or
Right.
very few of them married German.
Right. And nobody even dared date a Russian.
Oh,
Did you? Well, that's a good question. Did you ever have any interactions with the Russians at all?
no, I never even met any of them.
Yeah. They kind of kept to themselves.
Uh-huh. No, the only,
I dated a white Russian.
Mhm.
A white Russian girl there in Nuremberg.
Right.
She must have been working for the Russians.
You probably, as soon as the word got out, she
you
disappeared.
got home, that's right, in a hurry.
Yeah. Because we've had a couple prosecutors who had relationships, and boom, off they went.
yeah.
Especially when it got on the legal side, where they were lawyers, and then
Yeah, come to think of it, I didn't see her the last 2 years there.
yeah, nice. You probably led to her demise.
Oh my. Well, whenever I was there, Nuremberg was practically flat. I mean, part of the castle was still standing, and the moat. There was, if I remember correctly, there was a wall around the moat, around the thing there in downtown
Right?
Nuremberg, and we used to sit on that moat on the wall and watch them streetcars go by, But that place was so flat, and that moat was full of rubble.
But they must have been rebuilding it before you left, right?
I never saw anything
Really?
rebuilt.
Okay, so it was later than
It
that.
was later.
The other
Were you-
places. The only thing that I saw was that the roads had been cleared.
Yeah.
From a security perspective, there were a lot of secretaries, young, single secretaries. Did the military make sure that you were safe in the sense of just getting from the hotel or from the Palace of Justice to your house? Was there protection?
I didn't notice it, but
It may have been the
there was-
first part when they first went there, but later on, there was no security that I know of where they escorted them.
I don't remember that, but there was always cabs, outside waiting, and we could always get a cab to the Palace of Justice.
Okay. So you had that cab coming back and forth to your
Right,
home, yeah?
right. There was 2 or 3 of them, help, because there were a number of people in. There was Jean and Joan and myself, and I think there was another girl in there. I can't remember her name.
Was there a name on the house or?
No, it was just had a number.
Yeah. And where was that located? Was it located in Nuremberg or was it Firth?
No, it was Nuremberg.
In Nuremberg. So you stayed in Nuremberg.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then you were at the Palace of Justice and occasionally worked in Firth. And got married in Firth. Why did you get married in Firth? Why that Burgermeister?
I have no idea. We were had to get married, in Bavaria.
Bavaria, yeah.
So we wound up in Firth. So,
Well, that was
Yeah, that's
see,
what we did.
Actually, my station was Firth.
Well, yeah.
I was at the SS concern legally. That's where my unit was.
Well,
1st Division, 26th Infantry was there. I would think I was in every company in that thing.
Yeah.
because as fast as one of them was shipped home, they transferred me to, I was in headquarters company. Then I was in company C, company B, company A, company D, because every time one was shipped home, they had to transfer me so I could stay at the Palace of Justice.
Yeah. Interesting. This is so interesting.
But all of my base was always right there at Nuremberg, because once probably every 3 or 4 months I'd have to go to the base and be sergeant of the guard.
Right.
You know, for 24 hours I'd have to be on the base, and then I went back to Nuremberg.
Oh, this is great. Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
Thanks for permitting us to intrude on your day.
That's all right.
We now are, at least I'm glad that Doug and I are the guys asking about Nuremberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the first for you here.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Can
yeah.
I borrow these books for a few days? You care if I borrow these books? You
Yeah.
don't?
Yes.
I may? Okay.
Yes.
Well, you gotta watch these doctors. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now, like I told you, if ever I find those
you
files,
let me know, yeah?
I'll sure let you know.
You
I've
said
got
you-
your card, so
Okay, you said you had a couple more letters, too.
yeah. Let me get those.
You didn't ever go to any of the reunions, right?
No,
You didn't
no,
go and make
no,
those. You
no.
had invitations all the time, but you never made them, huh?
I don't think so. I don't know whether I got any or not.
No, you did. All those letters say,
Oh, is
Eve,
that
come
right?
see me at the reunion.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Drexel wanted to get everybody back. And they were very successful.
Were they?
Oh, yeah, very successful
Yeah,
reunions. And they filmed one set.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, thank you.